Welcome to yoga. I'm really happy you could join me on your mat today. This sequence is going to be a nice little break in your day if you need to find movement to reconnect with your body and your breath. So we're going to start in standing pose, making sure our feet are hip width distance apart or a little bit wider. Maybe rocking back and forth, feeling the weight shifting from the front of our feet to the back of our feet. Allowing our shoulders to fall down our back. And maybe you take some nice deep breaths. Or if a deep breath doesn't feel good right now, maybe just taking some intentional breathing. Nice, gentle breaths. Feeling that movement in your chest. Eyes can be opened or closed, whichever is more comfortable for you today in this practice. And then we're going to take our hands behind our back, interlace our fingers. Arms can stay bent as you open up your chest or fully extending those arms as your hands slide down your lower back. Gaze can go up towards the ceiling or send it down to the ground. Release that. We're going to take 3 intentional breaths here. So we're going to inhale as we lift up and lengthen our body, lengthening our spine. Exhale, releasing that out the mouth or out the nose. Going at your own pace here. Last one. Lengthening, lengthening. Exhale, releasing that. We're going to come to the top of our mat. Inhale, rising, maybe wiggling those fingers, contracting the fronts of the legs, waking up those muscles, maybe making fists with your hands. And then as you exhale, swan dive, finding that forward fold. Knees can stay bent here, allowing your head and neck to release. It might feel good to gently shake your head from side to side, front to back. We're going to inhale, halfway lift, hands come to shins, back is straight, gaze is down. And as we release, bending those knees, planting those hands, we're going to step back into a downward facing dog. And you can allow your feet to come out to the sides of your mat, making that downward dog a little bit wider, if that feels good. Or you can also have your feet be hip width distance apart. And knowing that in yoga, it's always fun to play with hand placement, foot placement, just noticing the different sensations in your body, what feels better. Because we don't know unless we try it. Maybe bending your knees, alternating, bending one knee and then the other. And then on your next exhale, we're going to release those knees down onto the ground, finding tabletop. Making sure we're in alignment here, so wrists are below shoulders, knees are below hips. Spreading those fingers out wide. Let's find a couple rounds of cat-cow, sinking the belly to the mat. Gaze goes out. And then we're going to tuck that chin, round that back. Linking this movement to your own breath. Let's do one more round here. Coming back to that neutral spine. We're going to extend that left leg out, pressing into the ball of that left foot. Maybe feeling a nice stretch in the back of that leg. Releasing that foot, that knee meeting the right. Let's extend that right leg, pressing into the ball of that right foot. Making sure you're still paying attention to your breath. And then releasing that knee back to the ground. And then we're going to walk our hands back to our knees, coming up into half stance. We're going to inhale our hands up towards the ceiling, maybe finding a little back bend here. And then exhale, bringing our hands to our hips. We're going to bring that right leg forward. So shifting our weight onto that left knee, bringing that right leg forward. Finding a low lunge here. Sending those arms up or keeping them on our hips. Pressing into that right leg. And then on the next exhale, we're going to bring that left hand down onto our mat. Palm can be down or you can make a fist. And we're going to twist over to the right side, extending that right arm up towards the ceiling. Gaze can be up towards your hand, out to the side of the room, or down towards your mat. And then exhale, release that right arm. We're going to press our seat bones back towards that left heel, extending that right leg, coming into half splits. Exhale, press into that right leg. We're going to tuck that back toe, bring that left foot up to meet that right, finding forward fold here. Bending those knees, we're going to slowly roll up to standing. Inhale as we rise and lengthen. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend those knees, plant those hands down, stepping back into downward facing dog. Now remember, playing with that foot placement here, keeping your feet where they are or stepping them out a little bit wider if that feels good. Taking a few rounds of breath here, allowing the shoulders to move away from the ears. Next, exhale, releasing those knees down, finding that tabletop again, making sure you're in alignment so wrists are below shoulders, knees are below hips. Let's take a few rounds of cat-cow here. Last one. Walking our hands back to our knees, finding that half stance. Inhale as we lengthen here. Exhale, hands coming to hips. Shifting our weight onto that right knee, sending that left foot forward, finding that low lunge. Hands can come up towards the ceiling or stay on those hips. Always checking in with yourself, always making the choice that feels best for your body. On our next exhale, we're going to let that right hand come down onto the side as we find that twist towards the left thigh. Exhale, releasing that left hand. Let's find those half splits. Noticing if you're holding any tension in your face. Allowing that to soften, release that jaw. Pressing into that left leg, tucking that right foot, and bringing that right foot to meet that left for forward fold. We're gonna slowly roll up. We're gonna do one round of vinyasa. So inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, bend those knees, finding that plank. So stepping out, legs are extended or coming down onto the knees. Slightly shifting that weight forward. Coming through to chaturanga as our arms sweep the sides of our body. Inhale, baby cobra. Pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Exhale, release. Coming through tabletop, pressing back into that downward facing dog. Taking a few rounds of breath here. We're gonna bend those knees. And if it feels good here, we're gonna come to the back of our mat by walking our hands towards our feet. If this does not work for you, coming into that forward fold, and then walking back to the back of your mat. Then slowly coming up to standing. And let's end today's practice with a few rounds of breath. Inhale as we lengthen. Let's grab that opposite wrists, finding that side bend. Inhale back to center, releasing that grip, encircling that opposite arm, finding that side bend on the right. Coming back to center, exhale down. Let's do 2 more rounds of breath here. Maybe you exhale out the mouth. Bringing our hands to heart center. Thanking yourself for showing up today, incorporating a little movement break, allowing your body to feel re-energized. Namaste.